Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. I've just knocked off work for the day, and just before I go home I thought it'd be a good idea just to come over here to Hyde Park on this beautiful autumn Sydney day and just reflect and go through a book summary, just to click one onto the counter of the 1,000 that I want to deliver by my 61st birthday. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, calm place here in Hyde Park. So the book that I want to take you through today is entitled Tell Me More by an author named Kelly Corrigan. And a quote that Kelly kicks off with is something which is quite profound and quite telling and quite very useful, especially for young people. And the quote is, being in our lives as they are is probably one of the most common struggles that people tend to have. So it's all about accepting yourself as you are and being in your life and in celebrating and enjoying your life is probably one of the biggest struggles that people have. And I recall coming down here to this cafe, that cafe over there with those beautiful umbrellas paraded out the front. And it was a day when Australia's probably most famous international model, Miranda Kerr, was down here signing her book off or doing something. But I remember coming down here one afternoon and the place was teeming by girls who were on their phones just pointing at Miranda Kerr as she was there in the sunlight, beaming and enjoying the limelight, so to speak. And I remember having an interesting thought that crossed my mind when I saw all of these beautiful, beautiful young women looking through their phones at Miranda Kerr and just saying to myself, these girls are actually more beautiful than Miranda Kerr, and yet instead of Miranda Kerr photographing them and being awestruck in their presence, these young girls are standing there with their phones taking photos of Miranda Kerr and just being awestruck by Miranda Kerr, when, as I said, it would be probably more appropriate that it be the other way around. But as we have it, marketing and promotion tend to shape people's view of the world, and they tend to make superstars out of people who are just ordinary people. No more beautiful than the girl next door, no more clever than the person on the same tram or in the same audience, and yet the world has granted her fame and fortune, and all the other girls who are, as I said, as beautiful, if not more beautiful, more charismatic than her, are left to live an ordinary life, a life of just wondering what it would be like to be a supermodel. Anyway, that's my little story, but let's move into what the author's talking about. So the author says here that when it comes to dealing with people and working with people, we must always put listening before volunteering advice when someone you love is going through something which is pretty tough. So once again, the key point to come out of this book here is the importance of not volunteering advice, not being the Mr. Fix-It, the Miss Fix-It, the person who is the know-it-all. And we've got lots of people who are know-it-alls in our pares, in our social circles, who are always the first to volunteer advice, as if they bloody well think they know. When you look at people's lives around us and you say to yourself, everybody wants to volunteer advice, but very, very few people want to take their own advice. But what the author's saying here is that sometimes just by being there, just by being present, it's like you're a jigsaw piece placed out in front of a person, and all of a sudden, by you just being there and letting the other person talk through their problems, talk through their challenges, you may end up just being that missing piece that helps that person solve their own problem and fix their own problem by just being there and helping them find that missing piece. For children, I've heard this many, many times. Giving them the missing piece, helping them solve their problem, tidying up their room, wiping their bum, and doing all of those sorts of things is in effect, in a way, robbing them of a learning and growth opportunity. So the author in this book says that it's important to be patient and to allow people time to sit and contemplate, sit and think, because at the end of the day, we have all the skills, we have all the capability to figure it out ourselves, and by figuring it out ourselves, we actually own the solution, and it helps us grow and develop and become better at solving other possible problems which materialize over time. So the bottom line from this book is to be there and just zip it and listen, because by zipping it and listening, you may end up creating more value in their lives than what you thought you'd ever be able to create. Because we've all been there, we've all made mistakes, and usually when things go wrong, people know what they need to do. We know that we've stuffed up. We know exactly what we need to do. But what we need at that point in time is not somebody to boastfully and confidently tell us that we've made a mistake and to say, error, mistake, wrong, your opinion is wrong, what you've done is in error, and this is what you need to do to fix it. Instead of listening to those pompous individuals that we are often surrounded by, what people need is someone to empathetically feel with them and not to give them unwelcome advice, but just to be with them, to nurture and comfort them so that they can garner the energy and the love to help them solve their own problem. We need to respect people's wishes. Listen to those chiming bells over there at St. Mary's Cathedral. Isn't it absolutely glorious? So once again, we need to respect people's wishes when they say no, because it may just save your relationship. It's only now, after 35 years, that I'm starting to understand and appreciate when my wife Paula says no, and to back off and to let her have her peace and quiet without harassing her and being someone who is causing her angst and discomfort. So as we said before, it's important to learn to respect when they say no, and to basically back off, as we said, and be there but not be a forceful there. Because saying no, unfortunately, in our past lives is associated with laziness, selfishness, and other negative aspects. But we need to understand that to have healthy relationships with your family, your friends, your work peers, your community, you have to allow somebody to say no and to not make them feel uncomfortable with them saying no. If they don't want to go out, they don't want to go out. You know, there's no need to make them feel uncomfortable. There's no need to pressure them, because we're not all psyched up, and we're not all ready to go out and to do the things that our partners want us to do. And sometimes we just need some downtime. So this book reminds us that it's important to understand the fact that people need downtime and to respect it. Because in order to keep relationships strong, we need to be respectful and to ebb and flow with our partner's wishes, to enable them to feel comfortable and for them to express themselves without feeling as if they're letting the team down. And the last point to come out of this book is to have a great life doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean to be perfect. And the biggest and best lesson that I've learnt in life is that life is a thing that goes on for a very, very long time. And sometimes good enough is all that it takes to have a wonderful life. For those who are perfectionists, they tend to struggle. For those who are perfectionists, they tend to suffer. They suffer in silence, and they're always flanked by misery and by pain, because they just can't let go, they just can't relax, and they just can't enjoy themselves. But the key message to come out of this book is to understand and appreciate that good enough is good enough. You don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be 100%. As the Pareto principle informs us, 80% of the value comes from 20% of the activity or 20% of the observation. Sometimes it's not worth chasing the final 20% because it needs 80% of the effort. And who needs it anyway? You're better off doing far more things in your life and then being good enough rather than just doing the one thing and it being perfection. And it's okay to be perfect every now and then, but you don't need to strive for being perfect every day, is the author's final few points. Just a few victories here and there is enough to know that you will get there eventually. A powerful message from a very, very good book. And I thank you once again for joining me on this wonderful journey. A journey where I just don't believe where I get this energy from. There is no doubt that I am going to be the most prolific vlogger that you've ever met in your life. I'm closing in on 1,000 vlogs, and I reckon when I get to 1,000, that's when I'll get to the point where I'll feel comfortable and I will have learnt enough to get to my next 1,000 after that. So it's a learning experience. It's a learning experience, but it's an opportunity for me to pass on my love, to pass on knowledge, wisdom, other people's experiences, and to try and highlight the beauties of this city of ours, this city of Sydney. Because as you can see, Sydney in autumn is awesome, is beautiful. This whole area, this whole city tonight will be overwhelmed with people coming in for the gay and lesbian Mardi Gras, or whatever it's called these days. And there'll be floats lining the streets, and there'll be things happening left, right and centre. So I think that's enough for me for today. This is my fourth vlog for today. and I need to do on average 3.5 to 4 vlogs a day to enable me to get to my 1,000 by my 61st birthday. So let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay committed, stay reasonable, and most importantly, let's not become perfectionists, but understand that enough, good enough, is enough to enjoy a wonderful life, and to not get stuck in perfectionism, to not waste your time and effort trying to be perfect at everything. You can be perfect at a few things. Identify 2 or 3 things that you want to be known for and you want to be the best in the world at, and focus on those things. But don't waste your time trying to be perfect at absolutely everything and being too competitive. Otherwise, you'll burn yourself out, and you'll suffer. You'll suffer the consequences. So let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I'm well, and I feel absolutely great. Let's see where this day leads us. I might do another 1 or 2 vlogs to see through the day, to click the counter over and get through as many as I can, because I've got a number of book summaries that I've prepared, and I've got waiting in the wings. And to once again recall that this area here, this scene, was a place where a number of beautiful young girls were looking at Miranda Kerr and looking at her in awe, when it should have been the other way around. They were just as beautiful, if not more beautiful, than Miranda Kerr. So enjoy your day, enjoy your life, and don't go out of your way idolising other people, but make the most of your life as best you can to enjoy the moments that you have in the sun. Yassas, take care. Filakya from Jim's 5am Club. Until we chat again, bye for now.